ugly, man. Maybe some breastfeeding mid-pod. Pull out a boobie. Well, why don't we start off with what happened to your arm today? What'd you do, man?
Dude, okay, so every day I work out twice a day. So I hit the gym midday around 12 o'clock on lunch. And I was doing pec deck.
Like 500 pounds?
No.
No, make the story better.
No, I don't lift heavy. I used to compete in powerlifting. Not anymore. I look at guys in the gym like lifting heavy, and I'll go up to them like, that was a good lift, man. Right? I'm not one of those old men like, back in my day, I used to lift this. I just tell people like, good lift. But with me, it's all light. I'm just trying to get my body moving. And I was doing the pec deck today, and like my arm like twinged, just like, right? But I'm like, no, I'll keep going. And I went to a different exercise, and then I felt like I was going to throw up.
Wait, you did a different exercise after?
Yeah, well, I was just seeing like maybe it was just like a cramp, right?
Yeah.
And so I went to do a different exercise, and I was like about to throw up. These people are judging me. They're like, are you using the machine? I was like, please, God.
Did you shed a singular tear?
Yeah, I was literally sitting down like trying to collect myself. And so then I just left. On
the pec deck, bro. You weren't even touching a barbell or a dumbbell. You gonna eat, bro? You gonna stare at the green wall? Oh, the green wall is very distracting.
Okay, so Maddie is feeding my son. Good, feed him.
All right, we were 500 pounds on the pec deck. You were crying, rolling around the floor in pain.
Yes, and I don't want to talk about it anymore because it pains me, and I want to go exercise tomorrow. Yeah, Maddie, how's life on your end? How was your week? How was being home? You came into the office for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, so Max is about 9 weeks old now, and I've pretty much been working from home. Still working. I have this pillow, and I put this little breastfeeding pillow. I prop it up on my desk, and I work like this on the desk. So I've still been working, still been attending meetings virtually, but today was the first day we did our meetings in person. Usually I was virtual. So Max got to be in the executive meeting today, and we went over numbers, and Max put his foot down and set some really harsh KPIs and boundaries that we have to hit.
Good.
So
Gotta set boundaries.
Max is on top of us, right? He's like, you can't slide. You're my parents. You gotta do me proud. So first meeting back, it was fun. He was good. Your dad was definitely distracted, was not present in the meeting. He came over and snatched Max, and then he put Max on his big executive chair. And then we're talking, and we have a big TV in our boardroom, and we're talking to the sales reps on the TV, and all you hear in the background is click, click. So his Max's grandpa put him on a seat and started taking pictures mid-meeting. The big executive meeting, going over all the numbers. But it was pretty funny. But yeah, that was first meeting. Pretty good.
I love seeing my parents become grandparents, right? And my dad is awesome, and he's always been awesome. Like when I was growing up, I thought he was a goddamn superhero. Right? I remember one time he was driving his convertible. It was a dark baby blue. It was awesome. Like, he would drive it, and he was like 300 pounds, right? And as a kid, I never thought he was fat, or I never thought any of that stuff, right? I just thought he was like a superhero. And he was driving his baby blue Dart GT, and I remember this. Like, it was a beautiful day. It was sunny out, and it was like just the sunset touching the horizon, and he's driving one hand, and he's driving top down. We were in a convertible, and I'm looking at the horizon, and I'm a kid, like maybe 6, 7, and I look at it, and I'm thinking to myself, that looks like heaven, right? I'm like, that looks like heaven. But then instantly my child thoughts go, is there a hell? So I go to my dad, and I'm like, Dad, is there a hell? And he looks at me, looks at back at the road, he's like, yes. And that's all he says. That's all he says.
That's all you need to know about Ryan's dad.
Yes.
That sums it up, man. He's Ryan would always say he's borderline mute.
Yeah. My favorite people are introverts. I love introverts because what they have to say means so much because they say so little. Yeah. Right? I love extroverts. They're great to party, great to have fun with, but like introverts are my people, right? They're like my best friend. He passed away recently, so RIP. But he was an introvert, and everybody thought he was so weird, but I thought he was the coolest person ever.
That's so funny. Yeah. Okay, I like this path. Let's make fun of our parents in a cute, fun way. They're little quirks. Okay. You want to go for it? Okay, starting with Dave, your dad.
Borderline mute, mumbles all the time.
Mumbles,
yeah. Everybody's so scared of him except for me, right? Everybody. Yep. Like, everybody is intimidated by him, right? because he's built such a big company and like no one fucks with him except for me, and he always laughs, right?
Yep. Yeah,
Right?
he tries to be mad at you, and no one can be mad at you. No one stays mad at you.
Yeah, I was like, you shouldn't be yelling at me. I'm your favorite son. And he'll just like, don't talk to me. I'm like, I'm talking to you though, right? And yeah, I just dig him. My mom, she can have a conversation by herself.
She does.
Like, I'll just sit there and she's like, I went grocery shopping today and oh my God, the ketchup was on sale. And then you take the ketchup on sale.
And I used this coupon and this coupon.
Then I put it in the cart. Then I went to the cart and I went to the grocery checkout. And the grocery checkout, I showed them pictures of Max. Oh my God, Maximus is so beautiful. How was Maximus's day? Oh, Maximus. And she can just go by herself.
Yep. She can, one of our friends, Justin, what do they describe Justin as? He can make friends with a tree.
Yeah.
That's just like your mom. They can make best friends with the tree. She just loves talking. She's definitely an extrovert. Yeah. That's like, you're like your mom's personality that way. That's why you like your dad so much.
Yeah.
You guys mix like
that.
But
I love my mom because she's so genuine and she's like loves to talk and she's engaging, right? So that's why I love her too. It's not that I hate extroverts, like, but I like introverts because just they're different, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Your dad on the mumble thing, that's hilarious. It kills me every time. He's like, can you do the... I'm like, wait, what was that? Can you do the... And he walks away and turns around mid-conversation and you're like, how many times can I say pardon? And then you're like, I shouldn't say pardon anymore. But really, you need to hear what he says. It's not your fault. But for some reason, it seems like it's your fault.
Yeah, it's funny.
So funny. Yeah, your dad's good. That sums him up. I think that sums him up. What else left about your dad? That's his funniest quirks.
He is...
Oh, he says really funny, random stuff.
He's very intense sometimes.
Yes, like random quick bursts and then moves on with his life.
Yeah, he's very intense with us. When I was a kid, I remember every Wednesday at 8 o'clock Dragon Ball Z came on and I'd look forward to Dragon Ball Z, like Goku powering up half the show and then half the show credits, right?
Legit.
And so my dad would come downstairs one day and I was like watching us, looking forward to it, and he turns to me, he's like, you must carry on the bar name. And then he walks away. I'm like, bro, let me be.
Bro, I'm 9, going Super Saiyan right now. What are you doing?
Let me be, man. Like, let me develop my own insecurities by myself, right? He was just crazy like that. I have so many stories like that. Like, honestly, a lot of the stuff he did it was just generally out of the best for me. I remember I was thinking about this the other day about why I have so much conviction and confidence in why I always act and do things. For a long time, I was so self-conscious. I would say borderline, like full of anxiety and stress all the time, worried about what everyone thought about me. Probably up until like grade 11. Mm-hmm. All the time I was worried what people thought about me. I was like sucking in my stomach and like fixing my shirt and like, do girls like me? Do my teachers like me? Like, I just terrible. I was so inside my own head for so long, right? And like one day the flip switched where I became on the offensive instead of the defensive. But I remember one time my dad, we were like at the airport and like I was like trying to suck my stomach in and I was like so insecure, and he's like, go up to that front desk, ask that lady when the plane's leaving. I was like, I don't want to. He's like, go. So I went and I'm like, when is the plane leaving? She's like, go to the back of the line, right? And I'm like, I went up to my dad. He's like, oh, she said, go back to the line. And he went up there and I remember the way he walked, the way he approached the situation with so much confidence and conviction, and the way he actually did it. I was like, oh, that's how you do it, right? He didn't berate me or make fun of me. He showed me, and that was wonderful, right? So, yeah, he was...
Yeah, he's definitely not a talker, but he walks the walk.
Which I loved.
Sure.
Which I love. That's I love people. As much as people love to say how good they are as humans and all that stuff, you hear it all the time. Like, you have one mouth and 2 ears, listen more than you talk, but you also have 2 eyes, right? Yeah. So watch more than you talk too, right?
He used to look like an Indian mobster. Remember all those old pictures of him? Every time I see him, I'm like, that's not the man I know. Yeah. He's like a sweet little grandpa now, but he used to be like a man with a hard shell.
Yeah, he was a very intimidating person. Like, yeah. But
he was the one at the Indian weddings breaking up the fights. He like thrives in conflict resolution and organizing and leadership.
That's like you. It sounds like you. Yeah, that's you. It's okay, your parents. I'm done talking shit about my parents.
Okay. The Doug Snare. Shall we begin?
Oh, goodness.
So my dad's name is Doug. And I'm introverted. And sometimes I think, introverted selectively in situations. But sometimes I think I'm introverted solely because it's my father's fault. Because he takes up all the words for everybody, and I just would listen to him. So he would always drive me everywhere. He'd drive me here, drive me there, pick me up from here, pick me up here, drive my friends everywhere. And he would just talk the whole time, like life lessons and stories. So I learned just simply by listening. So I'm a really, really good listener. I'm also really good at pretending like I'm listening. That was kudos to my dad for helping me develop that one, right? Like I can be here zoning out, going through my whole day in my head, like what I have to do this. I can figure out the meaning of life while someone else is talking.
That's not listening, though.
But it looks like I'm listening, and you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. That's what I got from my dad. But my dad loves to talk. We call it the Doug snare. One time, it was when you went over to my dad's to ask for my hand in marriage, for permission from my dad. And I didn't know you were doing it. You were just, I think you said you're getting groceries. So I'm like, don't be long and don't get caught in the Doug snare. I just said it really quick. That was the first time I ever uttered those words. And then you mentioned it to my dad. And my dad is like so offended. Like, what do you mean the Doug snare? What do you mean the Doug snare? And now he always jokes like, oh, we're getting caught in the Doug snare right now. And so he turned it into his own.
He's so offended though. He's so offended.
Low-key offended. But yeah, he loves to talk. But that's how he taught me. So I did learn a lot of lessons in our car rides. But definitely the Doug snare. If you're going for a quick visit, reconsider your visit.
Yeah, we can
reschedule your whole day.
Well, you have to understand what quick visit means. A quick visit for him is a long visit.
Yes.
A long visit is overnight for the weekend, right?
Yes. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, that's my dad's biggest quirk, I would think.
Yeah, he's a talker.
He's definitely a talker. He's a guitarist too, so he'll always put his music on. Like, Who's this? Who's this?
Yeah, he loves his music. Yeah.
Right? And I always got to one-up him, and I got to make him proud by telling him, oh, I know who that is.
Yeah,
you taught me well, Dad.
You do, though. Like, every time, like, all these... I'm going to deviate this for a second. Maddie and I went to this restaurant all the time called El Carbone, which is like the Spanish restaurant. We loved it. It was our go-to place. We would go there. We would eat till we were sick, right? And we were sitting in the back, like they threw us in the back one day. And there was this lady at a table sitting by herself. And we were like, let me talk to this lady, right?
Shout out Shelly.
Yeah. I'm like, let me talk to this lady. She's sitting by herself, right? So it's asking about her life.
Hold on. Paint the picture of what this actually was. This restaurant was so busy. They threw us in the back party room that was silent, had huge tables. They sat us at a huge table, just the two of us. This other lonely lady at this circle table meant for 6. No music, white walls, and the doors were shut. And we're like, what's about to happen?
Yeah. So she was sitting there, and I just struck up a conversation. Maddie was involved in eating, right? And
as I am.
She was like focused on eating her ribs. And I struck up a conversation with her. We're having an awesome time, good time. And I'm like, hey, so like, why are you here by yourself? She's like, oh, I bought these Beatles tickets, right? There's like a cover band. And my friends all canceled on me, right? Like 5 of them or something like that. And we're like, oh, that's unfortunate, right? And before we were leaving, we're going to go home and do nothing. She's like, did you want to come with us? We're like, yeah, we'll come with you,
Carpe
right?
diem.
So we went with her, and it was awesome. It was fun. And there's these 2 older ladies in front of us. Maddie's singing along. I'm just like taking in the moment, right? And these ladies like, you're too young to know these people. And Maddie goes, boom, names a song. Boom, names the album they came from. Like, boom, boom, boom. Like, left hook, right hook, you're out, right? And the ladies like just turned around and didn't say anything. So Maddie knows like old school music, right? Like, music is timeless. It's just, not that I don't know it. I just don't know the names. If I were to listen to the song, I know it. But Maddie knows it, the music where it comes from because of Doug, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I was proud of you in that moment. I was like...
Yeah, the old ladies were like, I love Sgt. Pepper. I'm like, that's Yellow Submarine.
Yeah, they were like,
so silly.
Like, you're too, they're like flexing their age. Like, you're too young for this. And Maddie's like, boom, I know it. Boom, I know it. Right?
Such a silly statement,
even
too.
our camera guy did that. We went to Noah did that. So we went to a shoot for one of our products, our light fixtures. And one of the guys made a joke, like, you don't know this person, right? And Noah was like, yeah, I do.
Who was the person? No, I don't know.
I don't know what it was. What was it, Noah?
Mork from Ork.
Oh.
The old TV show with Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah,
and then Noah knew it, and then everyone just shut up and just moved on. I was like, I'm so proud of you that we hired you. God, I'm so happy.
You get a raise. Yeah, I love that stuff. It's so weird, like, between young and old, That's like what probably the biggest gap there is in society is the old versus the young.
Yes. Yeah, we talk about this a lot because Maddie and I talk marketing a lot. The biggest polarizing thoughts are never it's never skin color. It's not capitalist versus socialist. It's not Democrat, Republican. It is
young
age,
and old. Yeah.
young and old. No one questions it, right? We create this divide where one day you're just old and one day you're young, right?
Yeah, and the good old days. Every generation says good old days. So what are the real good old days?
Yeah. And if you really think about it, like the further we get away from youth, it has like this golden hue. But if you kind of remember it was shitty, right? Like it was shit, right? Some aspects were shit.
Yeah.
Obviously it has good, but like as you get further and further away from your youth, you're like, oh, I remember the good old days when I got bullied. And I had to go to school all the time, and I hated school, right?
Yeah, and I was broke, and I left my essays till last minute, gave myself a heart attack, and I was in a toxic relationship, and it's just so funny. There's pros and cons.
I love older people that like they never say like I've been there, done that. Like you're invalidating my story. You're invalidating who I am and everything that comes with my story, right? Like everybody's so unique, and like let me just box it up in age, like. I've traveled. I've touched almost every single continent. I've done so much in my life. I've done more than most people who are 50, but most people are like, you're young. I was like, I started my first company when I was 18. Anyway, sorry. Let me deviate. Your mom now.
Your mom. On that note, it's quality of years, not quantity of years, right? Like even the ladies in our weight loss community, they're like, we have like 70-year-olds in our weight loss community, and they hang on our every advice. Like they actually take our advice. And when we started the company, we were 20, right? Like a 70-year-old's taking advice from a 20-year-old. And I thought it was so beautiful. I always never understood why, because in my mind, I'm like, I'm so young, they're never going to respect me. But like we have been through so much. What we have to say is valid, and it's backed, and it's credible. And it was like an exchange of experience and an exchange of learning back and forth. It doesn't matter your age. Everybody can learn from everybody, which was so cool. Onward to my mother. My mother, Leanne, real name Patricia. Sorry I outed her. She never goes by Patty. And she's married to a Native American. I don't know if that's the technical term, but Native American. And she's gone very spiritual. So she'll always say really funny spiritual things. That's kind of her quirk. What did you have in mind?
I actually get along with your mom a lot. Like I like her because she's very similar to you. I find her very feminine, and just being around her makes me feel masculine. Yeah. She has this like, she listens. She's like very like, she has that.
Oh, she's funny when she agrees with you.
Yeah.
She like gets really into it when she agrees with you. Like, oh, yeah, totally, yes.
Yeah, I love it's just my own narcissism. Like, I love it when people bottom my ideas. Like, yes, everything I have to say is gold, right? Yeah. But that's not true. But when I'm talking to her, it's so nice because she's like there and conscious. And like, I have a lot of thoughts on God and spiritualism and this and that, and sometimes it's hard, right? Because most people don't believe in God, and if they do, they don't, right? Like, it's just so much to it, right? And I would talk to her about it, and she's very open to it. Like, she doesn't make you feel bad for your beliefs, but I think is she's also on the opposite end, right? She's like, she thinks love gets the job done, right? Where I'm a very aggressive person. Right? Like, I'm a very spiritual person. I love the spirit. I love the marketing. I love all that stuff, but I'm very aggressive, right? Like, even sometimes with our team in the past, I remember like my employees, if they're not getting something done, I'm like, get ready, like do it, right? Because not only do I love what I do and I have so much spirit and passion behind it, but I'm like, do the fucking work. Right? Shut up. Right?
Yeah, let's skip the pleasantries and just get what needs to get done.
I don't mind that half, but the other half is like, and then your mom, like, I could see she gets really like agitated when I'm aggressive, right? Because I'm aggressive towards you. I'm like, Maddie, you didn't iron my shirt right. And I'll say it to you like that, but you're so used to me that I'm not yelling at you or getting angry with you. I just want the job done right.
We're just so efficient. We're business partners. We just... You don't have to make me feel good. You don't have to play that game with me. Just tell me what you need.
Yeah, like I think working with you for so long, we could be like straight to the point. I'm like, that looks not good on you. Don't wear that. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And you're like, okay, right?
Fair.
And where another woman like, you don't own her, right? I'm like, I never said I didn't own her. I'm just telling her it doesn't look good on her, right?
Yeah, I'm making you a sandwich, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, bro.
Yeah.
If you're hungry, you're hungry. You'd make me a sandwich. Same thing.
Yeah, I remember one time, so it was our wedding day, and Maddie and I used to flip we used to flip couches, right? So we would buy couches and sell them online, right? And so we got a free couch in the morning. We got it, picked it up, and sold it for like $600 that day, right? And
on our wedding day, we're rushing in the morning. Where was it? Like Barrie or something?
Yeah. So we ran and we got it, and we're like running out and threw it in the trailer, and then came back and sold it. So much stupid shit we did, right? I love it. But we got back, and I'm like, Maddie, iron my shirt. I'm gonna jump in the shower. And then Maddie did it wrong. Like, there's a right way of doing things and a wrong way. It was wrong, right?
not well experienced.
And I was like, her mom was there, and I'm like, Maddie, you ironed my shirt wrong. And out of nowhere, Leanne's like, then do it yourself, right? I was like, oh, why am I being attacked right now? Like, it's like me driving on the left side of the road, right? It's like, it's wrong, right? Unless you do drive on the left side of the road, you're weird and you're wrong. But
you're wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom's just, funny. She's just eclectic, I guess. Yeah, she's like, when Max was born, she's like, me and Mike, we smoked pipe for him and prayed. And it's just, like, it's so sweet. Like, that's their praise to God or to Mother Nature or whatever. It's so sweet that they took the time to do that. It's just so funny hearing it because it's just not normal language in our world, right? So it's just, we share a lot of similar beliefs.
It's just different language.
She uses such different language. It's so funny. And whenever I'm around her, it always reminds me of just a great marketing technique. It's like, you don't, like, use the language your audience wants, not the language that you're used to using. And that's the same thing when I'm around Mom. I'll use the language she uses, right? So we can have a conversation on her level and we can meet each other because a lot of times, even in like a marriage, people will fight, but they're saying the same thing, right? We were even in a meeting about starting this podcast, and you and I were bickering back and forth, just not really bickering, but not finding a solution. And then Noah's like, hold up, guys, you're literally saying the exact same thing.
Well, let's take a step back. I felt like Noah was that little child between parents fighting.
To parents about getting divorced. He's like, I just want you guys to get along.
The mommy and daddy are fighting.
I can make it better. I'll fix it. But yeah, it was just, we were just bickering. We were saying the same thing, just different language.
Yeah,
so important.
That's the thing. I felt, most people I've ever met, I find that I've never really had friction with. Like, they're saying the right things. They want to be better humans. They really care about their work. They want to be better. And I want, if those, like, most people want that, right? There's obviously those random sensationalism people that are like, I hate women, or like, I hate men. Like, it's like, no, I'm talking about normal people that live normal lives that have normal problems, right? And I find that it's just language that separates people, right? Mm-hmm. But I find that when I'm really passionate about something, I use polarizing language. Yeah. Right? I'm very passionate about health and fitness. I'm very passionate about marriage. I'm very passionate about business, and I'm not afraid to hurt feelings, right? I'm not afraid to be convicted because I know what it is to be overweight and to feel like shit. And I promise you, exercising and getting healthy and getting fit and having abs, your goddamn life will change. But so on that note, I'm not afraid to use people's language when we're like, when we're having a conversation. But when I'm trying to tell you a way of life that I think is better, I'll be very stern. And I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just trying to tell you, like, in the most efficient way possible. Mike Tyson says it, and I love this. He's like, the only drug I need is reality. Mm-hmm. I love that.
Now say it in the voice.
I don't know how to.
The only drug.
I'm not going to do the voice because it will go viral for that, and I don't want that. But that is real to me because I've never felt, and I've done drugs. I've had alcohol. I've done the weed, right?
Don't listen, Max.
And the thing is
did you just say the weed?
I've done.
Are you also on the Facebook?
The devil's lettuce. I feel like every single time I'm more in tune with reality. I do better with work and my body and my marriage and my team. I get more high off life. I get more momentum, right? I find that when I'm sitting in my room alone, smoking weed or drinking, I get more out of tune with reality, right? So that's my personal opinion, but I'm going to go on a tangent and run with it. Would you like to talk about whatever you want to talk about?
Well, we finished our parents, but you also have Suki and Pam.
Oh, Suki.
So
and Pam.
they're your aunt and uncle.
So
It's Suki's your dad's brother, and then Pam is your mom's sister, and
Yes.
they're both married.
So my family's 2 brothers married to 2 sisters. So Suki and Pam are like
And they basically raised
are
him.
like my mom and dad, right? Actually, so Suk is a talker, right? Like when you get him talking, and
He says the same things. Don't mind me.
yeah,
Don't mind me.
Yes,
Don't mind me.
yes. He says things. And he's like, don't mind me, but then you have to mind him.
Then it's an
right?
insult.
Yeah, it's an insult.
Like that somehow
He's
makes
like, hey,
it less
listen,
of a blow.
I have to tell you something. It's
Don't
not-
mind me, you stink.
Yes. And I love that about him. Like, he's so straight to the point. Sometimes when I listen to him talk now, and I'm like, this is one thing I've never said before, is like subconsciously my subconscious voice is all the things that's ever happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
All the good things, all the bad things, all the trauma, if I can say it out loud, God, all that's my subconscious voice. But my conscious voice is Suk's voice. It speaks to me in my head. That's my
funny.
conscious voice, right?
That's funny.
Not my dad, because he never talked, but I needed the leader in my life,
Sure.
and Suk was my leader, right? And Suk is a very competitive person.
Yes.
He's like, get the fucking job done.
Yeah,
Do it,
he was
right?
one of the hardest workers when we had our gym. He would
Yeah.
always come work out. He created it was called the A team at our gym. So the A team was, I don't know, maybe 10 people,
Yeah.
10
And he was
people,
a
and
leader.
he called them, he coined the name himself. It was the A team, and it was like the popular kids in high school. They'd come in, they'd huddle in the same section for their workout.
Yeah,
It was hilarious.
So my conscious voice that speaks to me every day is his voice, right? And it's a very powerful voice, which I love, right? But he's very
That's so nice.
He's very straight to the point, and he can rub people the wrong way, but he's the biggest softie ever, right?
Yeah.
Biggest
Biggest soft. You could be in fights. We could have not talked for 20 years. You call him and you need something. He
Yeah.
wouldn't even question it.
Yeah, but he's my dad. He's my dad. And Pam is, I call her the devil woman. I call her a demon, actually. Because I always make fun of her for this. She sits on the couch like this. I don't want to put my feet. She sits on the couch like this, and she watches horror movies. She like watches horror movies, right?
Yeah, she's addicted.
And I love it because I love horror movies too. And no one wants to watch horror movies except for her. And I get to gossip with her about horror movies, right? So I love it.
In her British accent.
Yeah, her British accent.
Ryan!
Yeah.
Ryan!
I bully her. I don't bully her, but I just poke fun at her.
She's so sweet.
She's
She's so sweet.
She's a sweetheart. And so she watches horror movies, and I always make fun of her in front of people like, oh, she's a demon. She watches horror movies and smiles, right? And people they paint this picture like she's crazy. She doesn't do those things. She just watches horror movies like any normal person, but I exaggerate it, right?
Yeah.
So she's very introverted.
Are you going to tell the Maya story?
No, I won't do that.
That would be disrespectful. Disrespect.
I gotta save Maya's story for her
Maya's wedding? Fair enough.
Yeah,
To be continued.
Yes, yeah, to be continued. It is an iconic story in our family, and she hates when I tell it. So I'm gonna tell it at Maya's wedding.
She hates, because they all live together, right? So the 2 sisters, the 2 brothers, and then the kids, we all live in the same house. So when you start picking on Pam and you start telling that story that she hates, your mom tries to stick up for her, like, stop it, Ryan, stop it. But then your mom starts giggling too because the story's so funny, and then everybody's against Pam. Like, you just get, sorry, Pam.
Yeah, because my mom and my sister, my mom and Pam are sisters, so my mom always has Pam's back, right? But when I start telling that story, my mom loves it when I tell it.
She's like giggling, but like trying not to show it. Like she almost always turns around. Yeah. You always realize she never looks at you when you're telling the story. And Ryan really like tells it. We say, so Ryan's really bad with timelines. He's like, I've been doing this for 25 years. And he's like 26, you know? So he's really bad with timelines. He's really bad with numbers, like he over exaggerates, and then he loves dramatizing stories. So we say he always sprinkles way too much masala and everything, just too much masala.
Well, you gotta add the drama, the flair, right?
Everybody loves it though. You keep us interested.
You gotta add the flair to it. Like it's like here's the thing: is the flair is Maddie. So one time Maddie stubbed her toe and she broke it. Right? And that's it. That's the story. But that's a shitty story. The story is one time I saw Maddie flying down the stairs, running, sprinting, and she kicks a bench and runs into the washroom, and her toe was twisted sideways. It's the same story, just a little bit of spice, right?
True.
So...
You're so good at it that literally this is what happens. So on our engagement party, all of our families came over, and it was like a beautiful day outside, and we were drinking, and Ryan was hammered, and his cousin was hammered, and your uncle was hammered, which never happens. Everyone's having a good time. And then you were retelling a story of when we were in Punta Cana, and this Russian guy followed us out of a club, and Hamid, your British cousin with his accent, we're talking about all these British accents today. He's like, fuck off, mate, because this Russian guy started following us. Whatever. We're not going to tell the story, but the point is, Ryan told that story 20 times in a row, drunk, slurring his words, and somehow the 20 of us in the same room laughed harder every time he told the story. Every time the story changed, just slightly.
Well, here's the thing: is like, if I don't care if I'm the butt of the joke, I don't care if you're laughing at me. If I have one person laughing, I'm gonna take it home. And it was Mackenzie, your sister, laughing.
I think she probably peed. She was
crying, and everyone else is like this. Stop, Ryan. And I didn't care because Mackenzie was crying, and I just kept going.
You told the same story 20 times right after one another. Your cousin would jump in and fill in the details, and then somehow it would change every time. It would like morphed into this weird thing by the very end. And I actually didn't drink at all that night, and I was peeing myself, and I was sober, and Kenzie was drunk, and she's peeing herself. So it hits for sober and drunk people.
Yeah,
so well done.
If I had one person, I'm telling the joke over and over again. I don't care if it's 100 people in the room, one person's laughing, I'm gonna keep going.
If the laughs are there, like, don't stop.
Yeah.
That's funny. But yeah, that's Dave, Deljeet, Doug, Leanne, Suki, Pam. Any other stories about them that we want to share? I think that's a good amount.
So many.
I know, on the spot I can't think of any. What did you text my mom the other day when you were texting me? When you thought you were texting me?
Oh, because I was telling Noah to make a thumbnail, and one of the thumbnails, he had a picture of just me and you, like, in business attire. And I'm like, I texted Noah, this thumbnail's not sexy enough to have a thumbnail of me and Maddie in bikinis. Sex sells, right? That's what I said, right? And I texted that to your mom.
Oopsies.
I texted that to your fucking mom. And
not the right person.
She's like, wrong person, Ryan. And I'm like, screw it. I'm pulling up my phone. And she's like, wrong person, Ryan. And then I said something like, I'm not apologizing, right? It was right. Like, sex sells. Screw you. Not screw you, but like, it's true, right? Where is it? Please, God.
Are you gonna find it?
Try to show Maddie and I full body. And the text, try to make it smaller, not overlap on us. Sex sells. Short, healthy bodies. Visual sells more than writing sometimes. And she texts me, wrong person, Ryan.
That's literally how she would have said it too. Wrong person, Ryan.
And I was like, and I went, okay, this emoji. I said, welcome to my video editing world, lol. And she said, lol, all good. And then I literally texted her next day because I saw her at a hotel, and I went to go visit her. But
yeah, you recovered. You recovered well.
Yeah. I always tell my dad, because my dad, like, sometimes he'll, like, apologize to me for, like, things he did in my childhood, right? I'm like, dude, royalty doesn't apologize. Don't apologize, man.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I'm like, don't apologize, man. Like, own it. Like, I love who I am. So if you tried to change some shit, right, and apologize for it, like, you're just changing who I am. I'm like, royalty, don't apologize. And he was like, yeah.
I bet he would like that one. Speaking of your dad, another funny story. So one of your best friends from childhood is also named Ryan, and we drive your dad home sometimes. So what he wants to know, because sometimes we'll leave early and we'll go do extra work outside of the office and whatnot. And so he'll text us and like, are you guys leaving early? Can I come home with you? Whatever. And so he's done this like 2 or 3 times now where he doesn't text you, Ryan. He texts your best friend, Ryan, and me in a text thread. And Owen lives in Toronto, like way over. And Owen is Ryan's last name. His name is Ryan Owen. We call him Owen because there's 2 Ryans, and that's just too confusing for me. So Owen plays into it, right? So one text was like, I left early. Ryan, please bring my lunch bag home. And Owen's like, not a problem, man, but it's going to take a while. I'm all the way in Toronto. He's like 40 minutes away from us. And then your stoic mumble father texts back like 10 emojis. And I'm like, who's this guy? Who is this man? Eggplant? What's happening? Yeah. Like, when did you know how to use emojis? I thought old people just knew how to do thumbs up and smile. Yes. But he did the crying, laughing. He did some craziness emojis.
Yeah, he's funny. My mom's funny too. They're definitely changing with age. Like, the thing is if you have parents and they're not grandparents yet, parents change. Like, it's a flip.
Yeah.
Right? It is an absolute flip. And it's wonderful. Right? Being a father, I've noticed everybody's like, what's changed? Like, what has changed? Is it like responsibility? It must be so tough. It must be so expensive. Oh my God, life is so difficult. Like, life is easy.
It's pretty chill.
It is so easy. Baby food is free.
Yeah.
Right? Even the diapers, like, you think it's expensive, get cloth diapers. Like, it is easy. People scare you. People scare you into children. The biggest thing that I have noticed is that I have become more focused. The people that matter to me matter. I don't take things as personally anymore. Like, I'm on track. I have my destiny. Mm-hmm. I want to help people get healthy and focused, and I want people to be strong in life. Right? That is my focus. Like, anything else that deviates off that path, I'm not doing it. Right? And so a child really brings that out. Where maybe I think for a grandparent, the child brings out youth in them again.
For sure.
Right? Because I don't feel like I'm youthful anymore. I feel like I'm, not that I'm not youthful, it's like I feel like I'm dedicated and determined.
Yeah.
But when I'm 60 and I'm like, I've accomplished things and I'm still on my path, like, I want to be youthful again. I had fun and talk baby language, right?
That's a good point.
Right? So I feel like my dad's like fun and, you know, all that. And I feel like we're a lot more serious, right?
Yeah, serious, focused, effective with our time. Like, we don't have time to fuck around. Close his ears.
I take a lot less shit too. Like, I'm not going to have people around me that are wishy-washy. And that's just, I just can't. I'm just not allowed, right? And it's because of Max. And yeah, that's just the biggest thing. It's wonderful. And my mom and my dad are wonderful. They're like talking. I'm like literally on my phone at night sometimes because you have your sales calls at night and you have your coaching calls. And I'll be on my phone playing chess. And my dad and my mom are just talking, yapping to Max. And Max is like this. And like, he's so smart. He's so brilliant. He's like, I'm like, he's not doing anything. Right? I'm thinking about it. He's not doing anything. And my dad and my mom, he's the most brilliant child I've ever seen in my entire life.
Hell yeah, he is. It's our DNA.
I'm like,
we did that.
I'm like,
ain't nobody pooping like Max pooping.
I'm like, he's doing nothing. Right? But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think we've done enough poking fun for the day.
Yes. But
if they watch this, we love you.
To end on a high note, the biggest thing is from my memories from my parents. I got to give 4 different stories because I got 4 different parents. Is I remember Sook when I was a kid. Such a wonderful person because I could never not love somebody like this. I remember I was like in grade 1 or 2 and I was getting bullied by somebody because like I didn't know how to tie my shoes, right? And I didn't, right? So like I was getting bullied. I'm like, if you want to teach me, like, why are you bullying me? I didn't understand bullying, right?
Yeah.
Grade 1, I'm like, my shoes.
What do you mean?
Like, just put them on. And then Sook found out, and I was actually in this office, this shop, and he comes into the office in front of all the employees, like, who doesn't know how to tie their shoes? So he's like, this is how you do it. Now you know how to do it. And he leaves, right? And that was so wonderful for me because, like, that's all I needed, right? I needed somebody to show me. Not, like, do something for them. Like, I showed him how to do it. He taught me and he moved on, which I like, and now I know how to do it. Now I can go. That was wonderful for me, right? Pam was always great because she was always such a soft, lovely woman, right? And she would like, I'd come home like, can you make me grilled cheese? And she's like, yeah, I'll make you grilled cheese, right? And she took such great pride in
grilled
like,
cheese, Pam.
recipes and like looking after me, right? Like she was such a feminine woman. And I realized like so many men loved Pam all the time, would still hit on her to this day because she's so feminine, right? So many men till this day hit on her all the time, right? And now looking back, I can tell because she's so feminine. When I was growing up, it was good as a man, as a young boy to have like that soft feminine touch, right? My mom was wonderful too because she was just like she was just this loving woman, but she was very different from my older brother to me to my younger brother. You always see that with mothers. They always treat their youngest different from their eldest, right? But my mom would always push me. She would always like, you're destined for something, Ryan. Go fly high. Go do something, right? Because we were in Venice and we were hanging out with our family, and Maddie and I didn't want to hang out with our family. Like they were just being too much and they were all being extra, right? And Maddie, my mom could see it on our face, right? Me and Maddie. She's like, if you want to go have a romantic dinner with Maddie, go. And we're like, okay, right? My mom was not afraid to make Maddie and I blaze our own path, right? And then my father was always a wonderful person because I find most people talk way more than they walk. Like talk. I'm going to start a business. Talk, never do it, right? Yeah. I'm going to go deliver the best, product you've ever seen. Talk. My dad.
He never stops walking.
Yeah.
He keeps walking even if he doesn't know where he's walking to. He just knows he can't stop.
And that was wonderful for me, especially as an extrovert, is like, oh, you go far in life from your results, not how much you talk, right? And so that was wonderful for me, right? And I find that I have everything I need from my parents, and I actually don't respect people who talk shit about their parents. It actually makes me question you, and it makes you look weak. Like, you're silly. Like, you're here today. You have all the control. Why are you blaming your parents for anything?
Yeah.
It makes you look weak.
At the very least, you're alive because of them. At the very least. And that's a huge gift.
And you said it to me best. It's like when you can see the impertinences, when you can see the negative aspects of your parents, that means they did their job right because they made you.
Because you're better.
You're better and you can actually see better than them.
Yeah. Well,
right?
So why are you mad? They literally did their job, whether it was intentional on their part or not.
Yeah.
You're still now able to see their flaws and therefore not repeat them.
Exactly.
So they did their job of making you better than them.
Exactly. So why are you getting mad at them that they're shit, right?
Yeah. And I mean, we all go through phases where we don't like our parents or we villainize them for whatever reason, but now I just view my parents as Doug and Leanne, and I love them. I'm so I would not be who I am today without all the good and the bad, and I don't even like calling it bad. It just is, and it taught me everything I needed to know, right? Like, even them getting a divorce was the best thing ever because it helped make me be a people pleaser. And I can take that trait, turn it into a good thing, and be excellent in business and really, really satisfy my customers, right? It helped me be an introvert and listen more because I wanted people to like me, right? Like, there's just so many awesome things that it has helped me where other people would view it as a bad trait. I've turned it into a good. And I think one of the best things my mom ever did was she was always a leader. For the longest time, I thought my dad taught me to be the leader, but it was actually my mother because I saw her lead me in Girl Guides. I saw her lead me when I worked with her and she would do HR trainings and trainings for all the things. I saw her lead me in homework. Like, she would teach me how to write essays and stuff. So I got my academic intelligence from her, and I got to see somebody lead from her, which is like the best gift ever. I always wondered why I always wanted to be the person in the group project in school that led, right, and took control. Maybe I'm a control freak, but I'm going to spin this so it's a good quality.
Yeah.
But I'm not a control freak. But
that's called narcissism.
Yeah. I was always the person in the group projects that took lead, right? And if no one wanted to do anything, I would do all of it. And that was because of her. She told me to be a good leader is to do the things that nobody else wants to do, and then people will follow. Right? So she taught me to be a leader, which is like I'm eternally grateful for because I wouldn't have you, right? You're such a high caliber man. You wouldn't put up with anything less than a woman who knows how to lead as well. And in a woman how to lead in their own special way. So that was definitely a tribute to my mom. And my dad gave me, I would say, like, dumb confidence. Like, I almost never have anxiety to the point where I can't handle it. Like, my go-to sentence in my brain is, everything's always fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Like, I always know everything will always be fine. I never really freak out, or if I freak out, it's for very, very short blips, and then I'm like, I'm always going to be fine. So my dad gave me that confidence because he was always so calm, cool, and collected. Like, he's always so calm. He's the cool guy, right? He's chilling on a couch with his legs crossed, holding a rum and coke and a cigar. He's just chilling, right? So he gave me sometimes unfounded confidence. Like, really? Should you be confident in that right now? And I just don't question it. And that's taken me really far to beat, like, imposter syndrome, where you're like, I haven't done that, so I shouldn't do that. Why would someone trust me to do that?
Yeah, and then it literally made you make millions of dollars. Right?
But here I am, right? Like, I coached my first client, never having coached a client before, but I still did it. And I didn't worry about the fact that I hadn't done it before. Perhaps it's crossed my mind, but I still went to do it. It just makes sense, right? So that was from my dad. And I think that from my dad, I think my mom gave me the leadership to be good at business with you when we started the gym. And my dad gave me the confidence to not question if I should do it or not. Because if I stopped and thought, like, we would not be here. If you stopped and thought, we would not be. Because if you think too much, you're like, whoa, this is a stupid idea. Like, the risks clearly outweigh the benefits right now.
Entrepreneurs are dumb people. And inherently, if you think about it, right, like, I failed school, dropped out of school, all that stuff, and we're entrepreneurs. Like, if you logically think about it, let me spend all my money, have everything, and put up all the risk,
and maybe it works.
Maybe it will work, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's dumb. I'll just go work for somebody, they pay me, and I just put in the S&P 500, put in my savings account, and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like, that's a logical step. We're like, no, right? Let's do it big, right? So, it's a good thing to have dumb confidence.
Yeah, but I think.
And I absolutely love telling this story because you brought up a high caliber man. And my father, I always listened to their business conversations, always. I would always listen in, and they were talking about this new engineer they hired on staff, right? Like, he was so sought after, and he knew how to do this, and he knew how to do that, right? And I came into the shop one day, and I'd always walk around the shop and say hi to everybody. I'd go to the front and the back and say hi to everybody, right? I would shake everybody's hands. I was like 8 years old, and I knew that that's what I was supposed to do. And I saw this engineer they were talking about, and I come up like chest tall, puffed up, and he goes, "Hi, my name is John." He's like, "What's your name?" And this little 8-year-old Ryan, I'm like, "I'm the boss's son." Right? And my dad absolutely laughs, right? He's like, "Tell him your name." And everybody always thinks that story has to do with like this narcissism in me. And it comes from nothing. It was like, it came from the places like, my dad is way better than you. He's a way better engineer than you. He's a way better person than you. You're not, he was talking highly of you. You don't even know him.
Your
right?
dad could beat up my dad.
Yeah, I was like, my dad's a way better engineer than you, right? It was just coming from a place of like, he was such a high caliber standing man. That's why I said, I'm the boss's son, right? I'm like stealing his reputation.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So
It's cute.
I just love that story because when you hang around high caliber men and high caliber women and parents, you tend to take on that persona. When you tend to hang around people who have anxiety or who are overweight or who are unhappy, you tend to take on that persona. So I constantly am grateful for the parents I had because they were high caliber people. They were awesome people. And I'm glad
just
because
good people.
And I feel like I'm cut from a different cloth. And I feel like it's a good thing, right?
Yeah. But on that note, we love our parents. We're grateful for our parents. And now we're parents. So one day Max will be on his podcast.
Talk shit about us.
Yeah, talking shit about all the crazy things we did to mess him up. Just kidding. We're going to do a good job.
I'm going to be so tough on him. So tough.
When he's not with me, it literally, like, actually physically hurts. Like, I actually go into fight or flight mode. It's the wildest thing I've ever felt in my life. I've never been like that. I'm always so chill. Like, whatever, what happens.
Yeah, when he's 18 or 16, he has his first girlfriend, and she comes home. I just imagine you. Like, you have your special cookie recipe, and Max goes, "Oh, Mom, my girlfriend makes better cookies than you." I could just see you having
I'm done. I'm going to drop dead.
You're going to punch her in the neck. You fucking bitch.
I'm going to break her hands so she can't make cookies anymore.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay, anyways. Thank you for tuning in, guys. This is a crazy episode.
What do you want to say, Max? Nothing?
Okay,
Nothing?
leave the man.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Bye, everybody. See you guys next time.
See you guys.